G'day friends and welcome to another one of my videos. Today we're doing a deep dive into the Blackmagic design ATEM Mini Pro ISO. So if you want to find out how you can use this device, well then stick around. And welcome back. Now, when I first heard about this device, I was very surprised because it came in at a really cheap price. And it really sort of got me thinking about, what was capable and what this device could deliver. Now, the first generation, which I tend not to get into, I usually get into a particular product line in Gen 2 when some of the bugs have been worked out and then some of the enhancements come out when people ask for changes in the Generation 1. So very closely after Gen 1 in this particular product, we saw Gen 2 come out, which was the ATEM Mini Pro. Now, when it came to the ATEM Mini Pro, what we found was that it added the live streaming features and the recording features, which was really awesome. And I was about to jump into that model because I was looking for something that had more than 3 HDMI ports. I was sort of using the Roland that I use currently. 3 sometimes wasn't enough, so I was looking for a device that could offer a little bit more. Before I could, put my money down, I heard the announcement of this particular device, which is the ISO. Now, the ISO is the next level up from the ATEM Mini Pro, which allows you to record the 4 streams of the video independently into a hard drive. Now, just to clarify that, you've got 4 HDMI ports and each video source can be recorded in 1080p individually, which was mind-blowing because one of the reasons I was looking for a device like this was because I was getting sick and tired of recording each individual, video footage in each camera and then grabbing all the video and syncing it together, in Premiere and doing all the hard work there. The thing that convinced me to finally take the plunge and actually purchase this product was its price. It did not exceed $1,500, which was here in Australia. And so it made it practically a no-brainer because when I did the homework on what equipment I needed to have in order to record, let's say, up to 4 independent streams of video in 1080p, each device was going to cost me like $700, $800. So, you're looking at quite a sizable investment if you're looking to record the independent streams. Don't get me wrong, I'm a Roland user. I was using the VR1 HD, and that was a really good device, but it does not record independent streams. So let's have a bit of a quick look. Now, I've set this up so you can see what I'm using in order to make this work. It is a very compact device. I'm going to switch over to camera 2, and here it is. I've got the ATEM Mini Pro ISO connected to all my inputs, and we'll run that through every single input and what it's meant to do for you. But at the same time, I also have camera 2 set up so you can see the actual menu that comes with the output port with HDMI. And then my camera 4 happens to be the ATEM software control, which is loaded onto my Mac, and it is just another functional part of it. Now, the device itself allows you to load media in there, so you can have this very complete podcasting. So when I first start my podcast, I dig into the media And right now you'll see that it has like a typical podcasting scene. Then we cut over to this one, and then obviously we can run through the different scenarios when it comes to the device. Now it has some really good intuitive features, and let's talk about the video first of all. From a video perspective, it has 4 independent HDMI inputs and 1 HDMI output. Now it can output and take in up to 1080p 60 frames per second. And the way that the system sort of configures itself, if you have it set to auto, is that whatever you plug into the very first HDMI port, it will take that as default. So if your camera on port number 1 happens to be 1080p with 25 frames per second, it will actually then set every other port to that, and it will convert whatever you plug into it to that. But you can also change it in the settings. So if you want to default it to a particular setting, 1080p, let's say 50, you can do that in the software control. So from a HDMI perspective, it's quite useful. So let me tell you also that the output is also controllable, but it does not offer a pass-through like, let's say, some other devices may. HDMI out is primarily focused on showing you what you want to see in the monitoring screen. So this screen that I have here is well segmented in order to give you a good indication of what's happening. You've got the preview screen here. You've got whatever's actually live in the program screen. Then you've got your independent cameras and also your media. It actually lets you know if you're going live. It has your cache and your data stream, and even tells you to which platform you're podcasting to or live streaming to. And then if you have a hard drive plugged into the USB C port in the back, it tells you how much space you got left. And on the last bit right there, it actually tells you your mic input levels, which is quite intuitive. I really like the fact that that particular output can be configured so you can actually have a good understanding of what's happening with your production. So if you have someone that is doing your production behind the scenes, they have this inbuilt menu that allows them to manipulate the scenes and really see exactly what's coming up. Now, let me give you another example. So on this particular screen that you're looking at right now, I can actually modify that. So I can change what you're seeing. So you can see camera 1, camera 2, camera 3, camera 4, or you can just set it to whatever's being recorded. But then this is probably the most useful view. Now, one of the things that I wanted to make sure you understood is that that particular output can be recorded. So if you have like an ATOMOS Ninja 5, you can record that output. So if you want to, for example, just record screen 1 or camera 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, you can do that by selecting that and it'll output it. Or if you're going to be doing switching and cutting between one camera and another, the actual ATOMOS can also record that through that particular output. Now, one of the things that was really cool about it is that it does output a time code. So if you're worried about syncing and making sure that things work well and are all synced up, the time code natively is punched out and the ATOMOS can pick that up. It also has a USB C port, and this is once again a multifunctional port, so it can be used like I'm using it right now. So I'll give you a look. I've actually plugged in this Samsung portable hard drive, and I'm using it to record these tracks, the ISO tracks. So every camera is being recorded separately onto that particular device. You can either do just the video, so as it's being recorded right now, or you can do the video as it's being recorded, but also the independent camera tracks as well. So obviously that's going to take up a lot more space on the hard drive. So you have to make sure you have something that's fast enough. That's why I'm using the Samsung T5. It's a fast hard drive and it allows me to get the bandwidth or the throughput in order to record, without it getting really jumpy and doing things like that. Now, the other use for the USB-C port is to connect it into your Mac or PC and use this device as an interface. So you can use it to record the video. So it practically works like a webcam, and you can plug any camera and then you can do the switching and they're going to see whatever it is that you select. So if you want to, for example, do a top-down shot, or maybe you want to do a screenshot of what you're seeing on your desktop, it has the ability to do that. Good thing about it too, if you want to do something like picture-in-picture, you can do that as well. What I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the picture-in-picture on, and whatever is in camera 1 is going to be what's actually displayed in that picture-in-picture mode. So you can see me, and I can be sort of shifted around, depending on where I want to be in the screen. So that's very easy to do just by pressing the buttons on the device itself, and then you can just turn it off if you want to, which is pretty good. Okay, so from a USB perspective, it gives you that full control. You either use it to record, or you either use it to send. So then the question will come up and say, hey, Fern, but what I want to do is I want to record and stream as well. So obviously they've thought of that. Blackmagic designers thought of that as well. And one of the cool features of this particular device is that it's network capable. So what I mean by that, it does have a networking port in the back next to the power. And what that allows you to do is control the device remotely, but also it can be sort of networked to your PC in order to stream through the network, which is quite amazing. So now you're looking at my screen right now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to scare you with my head on the screen. But what you see here is that this is the control panel. And now I've got it on cam 4 here. And I'm going to switch it over to cam 1. That gets rid of, doesn't get rid of the picture-in-picture, so I'm going to turn that off. But as you can see, I've got control of the device right through the Ethernet port. And that Ethernet port also allows you to connect to other Blackmagic design hardware. So if you have media hardware, you can actually pull media right through the Ethernet port into this device if you want to do something like that. You could take this device with you, and as long as you've got internet, you can stream yourself directly from this device to the internet without having to worry about configuring a separate PC or something like that. So I'm going to show you where that's done in the software. We'll touch on it briefly, but let me tell you, I did a test. So if you want to, I'll put the link in the description below, but I did a live test on Facebook, on the Technorama's Facebook page. So if you want to have a look at the quality of it, it worked really well, and it just took me a second to set up. I was quite pleased and quite amazed. It is a full encoder, which means that all the input that is coming in, all the video that's coming in, all the sound that's coming into this is being processed internally in this device. And that means that you don't have to worry about a separate PC or using your PC in order to record and sort of process the image. It's powerful enough to do this all on its own. Good thing about it too and obviously it's the other main feature of this particular device, is that it allows you to stream your content that you are capturing through the ATEM Mini Pro ISO straight to a streaming service. So you can send it to Facebook Live, you can send it to YouTube, you can send it to Twitch, and even other services that offer this particular protocol. So it's fully configurable. Okay, let's talk about sound. So this particular device has sound capture from every HDMI port. So if your HDMI camera is capturing sound like mine are, so I've got one there, and one behind me, they all have microphones, and that microphone sound is captured and then transmitted through the HDMI port. Now, if your camera has jacks, you can plug the jack in the back of the camera, and let's say if you're using a lapel mic, that will then send the sound through to the camera, and it will then send the sound via the HDMI to the ATEM Mini Pro ISO. So you've got that sound covered through the HDMI port. So that is, I guess, one level of connectivity. So you're going to need cables and longer cables if you want to do it that way. And the second method of getting sound into this device is the port. So it's got 3.5 millimeter mic inputs in the back of the device. So there's two of them. So what I have here is the Rodecaster Pro capturing my audio, and I've done a test of the sound. I've did another video that you may have watched, but what I was doing there was trying to test the quality of the sound that's being captured through the Rodecaster and then out the back and into the 3.5 millimeter ports in the back of the ATEM Mini Pro ISO. Now, what I found is that the quality is awesome. These two inputs in the back can be changed to either be mic inputs. So if you want to put like a lapel mic or lavalier mic straight into the back of that, that'll work fine. But you can also change it in the software to received line inputs like I have. So I've told it you're getting line sound from the Rodecaster and accept it like that. So then you can do the boosting, or you can sort of amplify the sound in any which way you want once you've got it. But if you're gonna be doing this as simple as possible, just using the device, just configure the ports in the back to mic, and then you could actually use two mics directly plugged into the back of that. Now, I was thinking if you wanted to, get a little bit creative, and if you had access to the Rode Wireless Go device, you could probably plug the receiver in the back of the ATEM Mini Pro ISO and then have the lapel mic from the Wireless Go on your person, and then that way you'd be able to record yourself wirelessly. So there's a million ways you could use it, but what I found is that it does not obviously have XLR ports, so you're going to have to figure out how that sound will be recorded. Now, from my perspective, I am lucky enough to have this configuration, which does all the hard work for me. But there's no reason why I can't just plug in some cables in the back and just use some lapel mics directly to the talent and the person I'm interviewing. So, I mean, there's quite a number of ways around it. Now, the audio configuration is quite good, and we'll get into the software in a second, but I just wanted to finish up with the device itself. Now, as far as audio is concerned, the software allows you to monitor that, But also, as you can see, we've got the monitoring happening here on the screen. So as you can see, I've got all my cameras sort of hearing me. And so you've got all the peaks there. Now the mic 1 is right there. Now that's active. So as you can see, it has a tally lamp showing me that that's the mic that is active. Now these guys, although it's monitoring the sound level, they're not live, so they're not being recorded at all. Now there's another really clean feature that's on the device itself, and it's on every audio port. It's the audio follows video feature. Now, what that is for is to allow you to have clean sound cuts from one camera to another one. So if you, for example, if you have one camera in a separate room and you want to capture the audio from there, and then you want to mute the sound that's coming from the other cameras, you can do that. It's a really good way to make sure that your audio signal is not, I guess, all blurred into one track. I don't really have a use for that. One of the features that I use on the Roland is the video follows audio, which is pretty cool when you're doing podcasting. Unfortunately, that feature is not available in this one. It would be cool, but it's not available in this one. So that's good. So from a sound perspective, it really has enough of what I need. From a cabling perspective, it does require a little bit of work in order to get the sound coming from the right place. Now let's talk about software. So this software comes packaged with this particular device. It's called the ATEM software control, and it is a quite intuitive piece of software that is a companion to this particular device. Now, does the device work on its own? Yes, it does. It has limited configuration. Everything from boosting mic volume to switching to cutting to different ways to sort of fade between one scene and another. It allows you to go on the air and record and turn on the picture in picture. But it does not do everything for you. So for example, if you wanted to do something like prepare the device to stream to your specific stream servers like Facebook or maybe YouTube, you need the software in order to configure that. So you can do that in two ways. You either do it by plugging in your ATEM Mini Pro ISO into your laptop or computer and doing the configuration on the ATEM software control there, or you can put the device on the network and then use the ATEM software control, which automatically finds the device on the network, and you can do it that way. So both ways are absolutely fine. It will allow you to do the configuration, and you can't even tell that the difference between software or USB. So, it's quite good from that perspective. But the software itself then allows you to do other things. So, for example, load media. And it gives you 20 different panels. You can load it straight from your computer and load in the different type of stills. So, for example, I've got a PNG with saying the podcast starting soon, and then I've got another PNG here that says podcast ending. So, and the other thing too is you can also capture an image straight from one of the cameras if you really wanted to do that. Now, the great thing about this is that you can have them all prepared, and then you can load them onto the media player so they can show up ready for you to use them. And I'll show you where it is. So if you can have a look at this panel down here, that is where it's actually being prepped, and I can shift between that and one of the other cameras. Now, back to the software. So once again, the audio features are pretty good. So you'll be able to monitor each different camera on individually. The last thing I want to touch upon is these areas of configuration. So as you can see, we've got the live stream area, we've got the record stream area. You can also capture stills if you want to do a thumbnail, time code generator, and there's lots and lots of different things you can actually do here. So I am quite surprised by the, I guess, powerful features that this little compact device has when it's all combined together with the software. So you're in the market for a powerful capture mixing device for video. And you have a specific use case, whether you're doing multi-camera control, whether you're recording meetings or places of worship, or you want to have multiple cameras, or you want to do like a little live gig, but you don't have enough room to set up a lot of the equipment, or if you're just looking for something budget that's going to give you enough flexibility. All of the above, this particular device can do it. One of the caveats I'm going to put on my review or my take on this is that it does lean very much towards the video side and not fully integrates audio as much as other devices do. Now, what I'm talking when I say audio, I'm talking XLR, I'm talking, professional audio equipment. That needs to be done in a separate device. But Blackmagic Design is a company that is, video centric, and obviously they make awesome products that are leaning towards video. From my perspective, when I was eyeing this device, was because I wanted to capture all my video cameras at the same time, because I often make mistakes when I'm doing a podcast and I may not get the right angle or the right camera at the right time. And once it's hard-coded into an MP4 or a video, then it's done. There's really not much you can do about it. So what I wanted to do is have that flexibility. Now, when this recording is done, I'll have the master track, which is what you're seeing today, but then all the individual tracks, and as well as the ability to easily edit this in Blackmagic Design software, video editing software, DaVinci Resolve. Now, it gives you all the time codes and it allows you to change when the actual cuts happen. It allows you to sort of change the transitions if you want to do it in a different way. So the software itself is very powerful in conjunction with the recording that's being recorded onto that hard drive. Now, if you're live podcasting, obviously you won't be able to do that. But if you're recording it and then live streaming it post the fact, then obviously you can do a lot of the pre-editing before you stream it live for the second time. Now, I am really, really content with this device. What are some of the things that you got to watch out for? All right. So one of the things you got to watch out for is the fact that to get full control out of this device, you need it plugged into a computer, or you need to plug it into a network and the computer loaded with the ATEM software control. You're not going to get all the features out of this device straight from the device. The device itself is designed for you to do those basic functions that you're doing while you are actually recording video or you're doing a live stream directly on the go. And everything from turning mics on and off, sort of switching cameras, doing transition, mixing, picture-in-picture, all that sort of stuff can be done on that device very quickly. But by no means it's the be-all and end-all, and it cannot control everything that this device can do. It works together with the software. So what's my final take on this? If you're looking for a device that records 4 independent streams plus the master output, this is probably the only device in the market of this nature that can do it. Now, I know there are some monitors from ATOMOS that can record the different streams on the monitor. Now, that is a different device. I'll put some links on for them down below. If you're looking at the Sumo recorder, for example, that can do it on the monitor itself. It can record all these different streams, but it requires different types of plugs. Now, the beauty about this, because it's more prosumer, it allows you to plug HDMI. You don't need any other plugs in order to get the video input. So it makes it nice and easy. So it is a consumer device because they make it as easy as possible to jump in and use this. But it's also prosumer because when you add the software on top of it, it just makes it into a more powerful device. And if you've got a second person, an operator working behind the scenes to make this happen for you, I think it's a done deal. You don't have to look anywhere else. So if you are that type of person looking to have full control of the video that you're capturing, or you're like me that occasionally makes mistakes and you want to try to correct those mistakes, and you only work in 1080p, well, then this device is the right device for you. So that's it, friends. Hopefully that wasn't too long for you guys, but that's my take on this particular device. I will be very, very happy to use this in the future. I'm going to continue to use it for my live podcasting. I think it's a wonderful feature. It works really well with my other peripherals, and I can't wait to set it up and have it ready to go anytime I need it. So thank you very much for watching the video. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. Your support does count. Hit the like if you like the video. And until the next time, ciao for now.